Hang on, my. Hey.
Hi everybody. So it looks like Tim's having some audio problems right away, but this is Fantasy Football Fever post NFL Draft recap. My name is John Flynn, saying hello here. Am I hearing you, Tim?
I'm sorry, my friends, but my laptop, I've just been make it better, make it a little quicker. Right here. I've just been having camera problems with my Xbox, so I was thinking maybe I could try to do this whole thing on my laptop, but so far it's kind of a struggle. So if everything's okay, just let me know. Otherwise, we may have to do this tomorrow, but I don't know. It's good to see everybody back again talk about the NFL draft and as far as my Cowboys are concerned, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think Dallas. It's because Dallas was really all honed in on trying to get Caleb Downs, who a lot of people seem to love in the draft process. So it started when the Giants drafted Arvell Reese at 5 and Francis Mariota, the Miami offensive tackle, at 10. So where a lot of people believed that Caleb Downs would be the pick for the Giants at 10, but once the Giants passed up on him, the Dallas decided to move up. They moved up a spot to draft at 11, and they wound up drafting Caleb Downs from Ohio State with that pick, and then they had another first round pick, which they moved down with the Eagles, so Philadelphia can move up and draft Mekhi Lemon from USC, and then Dallas with their extra first round pick they drafted Malachi Lawrence as an edge rusher there. So I think you have to be encouraged by what happened this weekend if you're the Cowboys, don't you think?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm definitely encouraged by that. Looking down my list here, they definitely went defense heavy uh, this past weekend. Getting themselves a safety and Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence from UCF edge rusher. They got another edge rusher, Jay Sean Barham from Michigan. Uh, they got an offensive tackle, Drew Shelton from Penn State. They got a corner, Devin Moore from Florida. Got edge rusher, LT overlever Anthony Smith from East Carolina. So I'd say they did well. They get was it one players drafted for the defense, which of course was pretty much historically pathetic last season. So, and I was really excited about Caleb Downs. He was one of the best corners available in the draft. So, seems to be pretty good on that. By the way, tell me about your Giants. What do you think of your Giants draft?
I thought the Giants had a pretty good draft. I mean, because because Arvell Reese was not supposed to be available for the Giants at 5 because I thought for sure they were going to draft wind up having to choose between Caleb Downs and Francis Mauanoa, who they pick, who they wound up picking a few minutes a few picks after number 5. But the so but Arvel Reese fell to them. He was the highest rated player on their board. So they got him at 5. And then instead of Caleb Downs, I'm because like I saw a little bit of Caleb Downs, but I mean I think he's going to be a player. I just don't think he's going to be a high level safety. So instead, they saw through some of the media darlingship of him and drafted Miami offensive tackle Spencer Manoa, who is projected to move to the interior offensive line position. Um, to start they brought back Jermaine Illuminor to be the right tackle. So you have that. The Giants then drafted Colton Hood from Tennessee, the corner, with their round 2 pick, and then they drafted Malachi Fields from Notre Dame with their third round pick. With a third round pick, they traded up from 105 all the way up to 74 to select Malachi Fields with the 74th pick of the draft. So. And I think they tried to add some trench depth in with their 3 6th round picks. So I thought it was a good draft for the New York Football Giants. So we'll definitely look and see about that one. So. I also wanted to go through some other drafts, Tim, that I think really that really stood out to me. Because with this, because I want you to, and I think that you got to me the one that stood out, and not necessarily in a positive or negative way, was the Los Angeles Rams' decision to draft Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick in the draft. I mean, it is something that nobody saw coming with the Rams, but they wind up they apparently have their successor to Matthew Stafford with the 13th. They picked Ty Simpson in the 13th overall pick. So and my thing was you have arguably the best offensive mind in the NFL. You have a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and the Rams, I believe, all went into the draft with, in my opinion, far and away the best roster, most complete, most talented roster in the NFL. So like if you didn't have to, if you had the opportunity to have a 13th overall pick, you're probably not going to be able to have a top 16 overall pick for years to come because of how good the team is. So yeah, if there was a time to draft Ty Simpson or a quarterback without having to move future assets to do it, I thought this was the year to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I put in a few images of each of the 7 rounds of the draft. If we want to go ahead and take a look at that first one on there, look at round 1. I put those in earlier today.
Okay.
Here. Oh, This
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and while you and also while you're waiting, another guy.
this
Well,
thing is just
yeah. While we're waiting on that, other drafts that stood out to me, Tim. I mean, I really loved what the Cleveland Browns did. I mean, because this comes a year after they were the laughing stock of the NFL draft, when they drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders in the same draft. But they really cooked on the offensive side of the ball. They drafted arguably two, maybe three week one starters. They drafted Spencer Fano, who's going to be their left tackle with the ninth pick. They traded down 3 spots to the draft so Kansas City can move up and draft Mansour Delane from LSU. They drafted Casey Concepcion with the 24th overall pick. They drafted Denzel Boston, another wide receiver, so with the 39th pick, I believe, in the draft, and then they beefed up the depth on the offensive line and the tight end positions, the rest of the draft. So and then they also drafted safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren, because there were some smart people that had McNeil Warren as a first round pick in the draft, in this year's draft, but he fell all the way to 58, and the Browns let the draft come to him. So major props, in my opinion, to the Cleveland Browns on what I thought was a terrific draft.
yeah, it was like one of the better drafts I've seen in quite some time here.
Yeah,
So
and yeah,
let's see,
and
try to get some of this stuff up in here. This thing is just working very, very, very slowly.
yeah. Um, and then with the and then we also got to
That
talk
first
about the Raiders,
second here.
Tim, while we're waiting, because the Raiders have their quarterback of the future. Oh, never mind. We looks like we uh, got that up. So
Yep. So we got Mendoza, pretty much the overall number one. We pretty much all figured he'd go to Las Vegas. David Bailey taken second by the Jets. Jeremiah Love is taken third by the Cardinals. Titans at number four take Cornell Tate, the wide receiver.
yeah,
As you just
I
mentioned, Arvell Reese, edge rusher, taken fifth.
So yeah, what was your reaction when the Cardinals drafted Jeremiah Love? Because like I thought it was crazy when they did that. I didn't think that the Cardinals would draft Jeremiah Love because of how poor their defense was last year. That maybe. So maybe if they didn't, if maybe if they didn't get David Bailey, they would have probably tried for Arvell Reese. But it's yeah, I was pretty curious about that. And then the Cardinals gave Jeremiah Love a fully guaranteed contract worth up to $50 million. So that in and of itself was pretty wild.
Pretty interesting right there indeed. Looks like the Chiefs got a trade from Cleveland, and they decided to get Mansour Delay in the corner. Sonny Styles, another linebacker that was pretty high on everyone's list. He was taken seventh by the Commanders. Jordan
I
Tyson,
thought
wide receiver, at number eight. Spencer
yeah.
Fano.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a phenomenal pick by Washington drafting Styles. Because I think he is as good a linebacker prospect as we've seen in quite some time. So
very, very interesting there to boost up the Commander defense there. And finishing out the top 10 was Francis
Malinois.
Mauigoa from Malinois, offensive tackle, acquired in a trade with the Bengals. And then everyone was wondering, was the Cowboys going to move up or going to move down? Well, they first moved up from number 12 to number 11 to get to Caleb Downs. And then the Cowboys decided to move down from number 20 to number 23 to get Malachi Lawrence and a trade from the Eagles. So I thought that went I thought that went pretty well here. Uh yeah, you mentioned the Ty Simpson trade. They traded picks with the Atlanta Falcons, so the Rams was able to get Ty Simpson there. At first, the Simpson draft was a. At first, it was a kind of head scratcher for me, but then I remember about Matthew Stafford's injury history, although he has pretty much stayed pretty healthy over the last year or so. But I
Yeah,
think he'll be all right with that there.
yeah, and remember Stafford won the league MVP last year. I mean, I think a lot of people forget who won the MVP last year. Because like we're also like because I think of how so absorbed we were on the head coaching carousel and the draft and free agency. But Matthew Stafford at age 37 won the league MVP, and like you figure that the Rams are in a position where, in theory, they should be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Based upon what they did to address the weaknesses on the roster, with
Uh-huh.
the corner position they already have an elite defensive front and offensive line and Nakua and Adams and uh, uh, and Kyra Williams among other things, but listen, the only two quarterbacks in the in this year's draft that I viewed as franchise quarterbacks were Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. I'm happy both of them went first round, and I'm gonna be defending the Rams for that as long as they win a championship this year.
Yeah, that could be very interesting there. Rams and Seahawks fighting for that NFC West division. That is going to be an interesting battle right there. So so yeah, good luck. Let's take a look and see if I can call up the next one here. Scroll down. There we go. Let's see if we can get the second rounders here. I was going to put up the second rounders and see if there's any names here in the second round that stood out for you.
Yeah, yeah. Also, a couple of names in the
Get it
first
up there.
round. Yeah, it's Tim. Before you do that, let's a couple things from round one that really stood out. Mekhi Lemon, who the Eagles drafted. I thought because the Eagles
Yeah.
draft they traded up and drafted a wide receiver, which probably means three things. One, AJ Brown's no longer gonna play for the Eagles. So he'll probably be moved to
Bye
New
bye.
England. Number two, the Eagles believe that Devontae Smith can take on the workload of a number one receiver, which I always thought was the case when it came to Devontae Smith. He was a Blitnikoff winner. He won the Heisman. He made some big catches, and the Eagles run to a championship a couple of years ago. And now you have Mekhi Lemon who comes and he can stretch out the field, and he can be a serious number two wide receiver. But for the Eagles, and the Eagles can get some valuable draft capital back, and what's already a highly anticipated draft next year, where there's going to be a lot of talented players that'll be available in the draft next year.
Absolutely. So Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree. The writing is the writing's on the wall for AJ Brown. He's
yeah.
pretty much gone.
Yeah,
So
and I think among receivers, I don't think there's been was a bigger loser from a fantasy perspective than Jerry Jeudy of the Cleveland Browns, because the Browns drafted Casey Concepcion with their other first round pick, and then with pick 39, as you see on the screen, they drafted Denzel Boston from the University of Washington. So just so his draft stock took a big step back with this draft. Another thing that I forgot to mention was that the Seahawks drafted Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price with the with the 32nd pick in the draft. So that means two running backs from Notre Dame went to the went in the first round, which does lead me which leads me to interject with my tough trivia question for today. So Notre Dame had two running backs drafted in the first round in the NFL draft this year. What school was the last year to do so prior to this year?
Notre Dame had two running backs drafted in the first round of the NFL district. What school was the last to do so prior to this year? Very, very, very nice question, I must say. Two
Yes.
running backs drafted in the same year.
It's in the first round, because you had
Wow.
Jeremiah Love go to Arizona at 3, and then you had Jadarian Price go to Seattle with pick 32.
Yeah. So what was the last school to? Well, you would obviously want to think of
It,
an
it's
SEC school
uh,
like Alabama or Georgia.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
But
but you have time to think about it, Tim. So, um,
okay. All right, I got you. Okay. Any names from this second page here that stand out to you? I think
the
number
fact,
54.
yeah, I think the fact that Caden McDonald was not a first round pick stood out to me, because I think he was the best defensive tackle in the draft, and I think the Texans knew that the Giants, if he was available, he'd be the pick at 37. But now you got a Texans defense that might be the best in the NFL, and I think the Texans defensive unit is capable of carrying a team to a championship. So okay, because their defensive team is loaded with talent. They had just extended Will McDonald, their All Pro linebacker, to a big contract extension. So and that's
Mhm.
something on there. So now you beef up what was probably the only weakness on Houston's defensive line, and they get a first round value out of that. In terms of fantasy, I mean, Jeremy Bernard, who the Pittsburgh Steelers took with the 47th overall pick in the draft. So now but you have to wonder aloud though. Is this a good place for Jeremy Bernard to really have good production in his rookie season, because the Steelers traded for Michael Pittman Jr. And they already have DK Metcalf, so not necessarily the best place
Right.
for Jimmy Bernard to be an impact receiver, but if something goes wrong with Metcalf or Pittman, because Pittman has been injury prone throughout his career, so we'll see if they'll allow an opportunity for for Jeremy Bernard to catch passes from whoever the Steelers quarterback is, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, or Will Howard, or if you turn the page, Tim, to round 3, it's in Drew Aller from Penn State. Oh, there he is.
Oh, and we need.
Yeah, I didn't see it until now. I was under the impression we were rescheduling, but
oh, sorry about that.
yeah. It's all good. I just happened to see the post late.
Yeah,
It's all right. It looks like the storms.
That's good. Glad you're safe.
Storms dissipated in the area,
But,
so
well, that's good. Yeah,
guess
you're all good. Glad you're safe.
We're pretty much safe to go ahead.
And I do have a trivia question for later. It is draft related.
Yes.
Yes. So earlier, I just gave Tim my
Right.
trivia question because we were talking about Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love being drafted in the same round. Love went to Arizona at 3, and then Jadarian Price went to Seattle, pick 32. So Notre Dame had 2 running backs drafted in the first round of the NFL draft this year. What school was the last the last to do so prior to 2026?
Interesting. All right, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah. And you're gonna love the 2 running backs that were drafted as part of the question. So so in case you missed it, we discussed the Cowboys draft, of course, the Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence draft. I discussed the draft for the New York Football Giants with Francis Mauigoa and Orville Reese and Colton Hood and Malachi Fields, who was drafted with pick 74. So I also mentioned the drafts of the Browns and the Rams. The Rams drafting Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick. I mean, to me, that was honestly the biggest surprise. It seemed to be the biggest surprise among everybody in the first round this year. So, what's your take on the Ty Simpson pick?
I thought it was a little bit of a reach getting him that early. I thought he could have easily fallen. They could have easily gotten him later on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I argue was that the Rams are probably not going to have a top 16 pick for a long time with the roster they have. So,
right.
and like the only way they get a franchise quarterback is if they use a lot of draft picks in the future to trade up for one.
Right.
So, yes. So I thought that, and I believe that the only 2 quarterbacks capable of carrying a franchise that came out of the draft this year were Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. So I mean, I knew someone was going to draft Ty Simpson in the first round, but I obviously didn't mock anything because I didn't do any mock trades in my mock this year. But
right.
Yeah, but I think it's a great situation for Ty Simpson because you got Lauren from McVay and Stafford. And Stafford was what could sometimes be on the injury report a lot, which
right.
isn't necessarily the cup of tea that you're hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So looking at 3 here, that's when my Cowboys were able to get another edge rusher, Jay-Sean Barham, via a trade from the 49ers. So we have another edge rusher. We needed one badly, and we got 2 of them. So I'm very, very, like I said, I'm very, very, very satisfied with what Jerry did with the draft this year. So
oh yeah. And
so
finally
Flynn,
did something right.
If you don't mind, give me some glory hole. Flynn, if you would, give me some glory hole. Find it.
Oh, really? If I can find it. Here we go.
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did something right this for a change.
Yeah.
And yeah, I called it. I said the Cowboys would draft up, but I just picked the wrong team.
Yeah.
And I said the Chiefs were going to trade up. I got that right too.
Yes, I say he did quite well for a change.
Yeah.
I did better than the analysts. Nobody said they were going to trade up, but I did.
Well,
Yeah. But I got Oliviega Ioane to the Ravens
yeah, I
and
guess
Ruben
you
Dane
did.
Jr. to the Buccaneers, right?
I guess we can move on to
Also, a couple of
ah,
round.
uh-huh.
I have a few round 3 takes. I think Malachi Fields feels like a John Harbaugh
Uh-huh.
type of wide receiver because he's a big, strong, physical, can win the one can win one-on-one battles. If you need someone to make a tough catch on third down late in the game with the game on the line. So I think he is the type of situation that Harbaugh is envisioning. So and the Giants, I think they've given themselves even without Odell Beckham Jr. and not that I would sign him, but but you have Neighbors, Slayton, Fields, and then you brought in Darnell Mooney, you brought in Calvin Austin. That's a nice receiver group. I must say.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say though my favorite pick of round 3 was Chris Brazil, the second to the Panthers at pick 83. I thought the Panthers had a terrific draft. And Chris Brazil, if you watched some of his tape, he showed some comparisons to Randy Moss. So I think he could be a dangerous receiver. He has a ton of upside, and I think it wouldn't surprise me that some that when the wheels stop spinning at the end of the season, the number 2 receiver for the Carolina Panthers is going to be it's going to wind up being Chris Brazil. I get that's how much I really think. I know Carolyn also has Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker, but I think Brazil is gonna wow during mini camp and training camp, and I think he's in line to potentially be just someone that I would put in my position rankings when it comes that time this summer.
Uh-huh. So nice little look there at the third round. Shall we proceed to round 4?
Yeah, I will also
The
say there were a lot of tight ends that were drafted this year. So, and I think this really signals some kind of a shift in some of the offensive philosophy going around the league because because I feel like now that that you're trying to run the ball more. And he thinks that the best way to win the battle at the line of scrimmage is to run the ball. I mean, you saw that with what happened with the Seahawks and Kenneth Walker III and Seattle being able to block and win the battle against the Patriots defensive line and that turned out to be a big trend here. So we're gonna see how that factors in to how offensive plays are called in the future with tight ends and purely blocked tight ends. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah, see if you know those. Yeah, in the 4th round, the Cowboys were able to get Drew Shelton at 112, the offensive tackle, which so we could definitely use another offensive tackle. Thank God his first name was not Tyler,
Yep.
because we already got 3 of them already on that offensive line.
Yeah.
So and we have another corner. Got him in a trade with the Chickens. They gave us 114, and we were able to get a corner named Devin Moore. And then later on, down at 137, and another trade with the chickens. I mean, what the hell was up with the Cowboys trading with the chickens? I mean, as
Mhm.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we were able to get LT Overton, who was another
yeah.
edge rusher. I mean, we could not ask for an edge rushers. Hopefully, they can do something with our defense. So, yeah, like I said, I was pretty good with the boys there. Looks like
Yeah, I said this before. Like, why
Go ahead.
would teams from their own division help each other?
I mean, the Eagles and Cowboys were trade partners 5 years ago when the when the Eagles drafted Devontae Smith and the Cowboys drafted Micah Parsons.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
and also we have other quarterbacks that were drafted. Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik was drafted with the 110th pick in the draft.
Yeah. How you
Yeah,
doing,
so
Daniel? Daniel, good to see you again.
yeah,
And of course, we have our good buddy, I think Vampire Luke wants to say hello. He has a couple
What's up,
of
Luke?
he has a couple other comments he wanted to make. Yeah, he likes the scholar pick, and he wanted to say thanks again for Micah. Well, it's okay, Luke. You're welcome. So sorry to interrupt there. I just want to give my shout out to these guys here. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and also Denver drafted Jonah Coleman in the fourth round. I believe it was pick 108. So it's now I think what we're going to see is that this summer how much is it going to eat into the playing time and the snap counts for J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. So that's going to be something we're going to have to monitor with the fourth round. I just want to see. Also
Okay,
the
that
rate.
means we can go ahead and proceed
Also
on to round 5, I guess.
yeah, and also the Raiders drafted a backup run. Who's now the running back 2 on the Raiders roster, and Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas with their fourth round pick. So, I mean, so I think so this guy is going to be drafted in a bunch of leagues this year. Because like if the Raiders are going to be a run first offense with the rookie quarterback and Ashton Genty, and Genty goes down, a lot of people are going to rush towards the waiver wire to pick up Mike Washington Jr. Out of the University of Arkansas. So that's now on to the 5th round.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at this pick, I definitely have to agree. This is a pretty much a tight end heavy draft this year, I must say.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I mean, I feel like that's going to be a big story in fantasy this year. It is a shift more towards running the ball. So, does this mean that more wide receivers are going to be drafted early on? Because there's more depth at running back this year, and who can be who are capable of being top 25 running backs this year. Like if you're in a 12-team league like ours will be this year, that you have a lot of different candidates. So who can be on?
I'm not sure. I
list?
can't really take a guess at that. Right.
Mhm.
So So looking around 5, yeah. More tight
Yep.
ends. It's like try to clear some. Try to clear some of this out here.
And also Sam
This
hacked.
laptop. I thought I could get it working better.
Yeah. And Tim, also Sam hacked who the Panthers drafted in round with pick 144. I think it's one of the better steals of the draft, because I thought he was going to go in round 2 or 3, but he fell all the way down to the 5th round. So so credit to the Panthers, who I thought had a really good offseason to draft him.
All right, that 5. That was the 5 up there right now.
Yep.
So it was here. Did we get a? No, I don't think Cowboys got a pick until the 7th and final round, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 137. Yeah, 137 was back in round 5. Our final pick was in round 7. That was pick 218 when we got Anthony Smith, the wide receiver from East Carolina. So, yeah, let's see. It looks like looks like got a few Chiefs in there. Got a couple of things. Got himself a guard and himself a wide receiver there. So I guess we can go ahead and get the round 6 list up in here.
Yeah.
We're getting down to what they call the bottom of the barrel here. Go ahead and see if I can get that up here. Yeah, we'll add that on there. And take a gander at those names when they come up. If they do come up.
Yeah, you see them right, Natale?
Yeah, I can read it perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely love the Giants selection at round 6.
So I
Jack
see,
Kelly.
Yeah, get a defensive tackle there.
Yeah, see, I mean, but I think
like Giants got 192. Got offensive tackle.
Yeah, but I think JC Davis has a chance to potentially make the 53-man roster this year. So we'll see. That's how that transpires.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I noticed the number 216 traded from Seattle Seahawks. The kicker Trace Mack.
So look, I was sad
that is a meme waiting to happen.
So I mean, I was sad that a kicker went there because it would have been the first time in 11 years that a kicker wasn't taken in the first 6 rounds of the draft. But then the Packers took him at round 6.
Yeah, the Packers are going to it. And of course, since Luke is a huge Packer fan, knocked out of the park with the kicker, if for no reason on his name alone. Yeah. As I just said, it's a meme waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Packers fan, they needed a kicker. Yeah. They needed one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because he made 82.8% of his kicks kicks in college, because he went 18 of 22 last year from in terms of field goals. So yeah, I mean, and this was after going 2 for 5 in Florida's first game. After that, yeah, he went 17 for he went 17 of 16 of 17 the rest of the way. He only missed one kick after the first week. So, but the first week was a game where they played LIU. They won that game 55-0.
Yeah,
So,
I see you there.
yeah,
And so we can go ahead and tap on this here and go to the final page on this draft number 7, or round number 7 actually.
yeah.
There we go. And of course, the name that we're all probably looking at right now, the final pick, 257, Mr. Irrelevant linebacker, Red Murdoch. Now, that name, Red Murdoch, that sounds like someone who could have played for the New York Giants back in the 1940s or something with a name like that.
I mean, another name
Maybe
that. So another name of a football legend from the 19th. Actually, there was a football legend named Red Grange who played in the 1920s and 30s for the Chicago Bears.
Red Grange.
Yeah.
Yep, that was Red Grange. Yeah, I think I remember hearing his name from time to time. So
Yeah, one of the
so
first.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
that is
one of
all
the
257.
yeah, one of the first superstars in the NFL went after the league started in 1920.
Right. So that's pretty much the how the 2026 draft picks that's basically how they went this year. So yeah, I was able to hear Flynn's take on the Giants picks. I don't think I've heard Natale's Natale's take on the Giants side of the draft.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was definitely fine with Orville Reese, although I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought for sure either the Jets or the Cardinals were going to take him, but since he fell into the Giants' lap, I'm like, definitely, absolutely love this trade absolutely love the pick because yeah, you pair him with like Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. You got one lethal group of linebackers there. And then, Francis Maguia. Although I was a little bit disappointed in them not getting Caleb Downs, I'm fine with that because they definitely need an offensive line because Evan Neal definitely can't stay healthy. Andrew Thomas has had his share of injuries. John Michael Schmitz has been injured a lot. So, yeah, if Francis Maguia could stay healthy, then, yeah, I like it.
And also not to mention the Giants already had two safeties starting in Tyler Nubin and Javon Holland. So that did so from a roster construction standpoint for this year, that it didn't make sense there either. So
yeah, I thought it was going to be Downs for sure to keep the father and son tradition going because his dad played for the Giants.
Right.
Yeah, his dad was a 3rd round selection.
Right. So, I think but I think you're starting to see what a Harbaugh identity is.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's to be big and physical, like similar to what Jim Harbaugh has up in LA with the Chargers, and what reflective of what they did in free agency and the draft.
Yeah, I definitely like the trade up in round 3. Yeah, they could definitely use a receiver. It should Malik Neighbors not be available to start the season. You got Malachi Fields, a very solid pick. I think you're a Notre Dame guy, right?
Notre Dame,
that's a college team you support. Yeah, that's the college team you support. So I'm sure you are absolutely all over that.
I was excited about that. I think the first Giants player, first Notre Dame player to go inside the top 100 to the Giants since Justin Tuck, I believe. So,
And then as far as the background, yeah, as far as like it was a bit of a hefty. I guess it turned out to be a fair price at the end because the Giants are going to get a 4th round back anyway in the compensatory round.
Right. Yeah.
But
So
I think don't they have to sign DJ? Don't they have to sign Reader first for that to happen though?
I mean, they technically don't have to right away. But maybe they should to make sure to maybe see how much to see what their contracts can be for when they have to eventually sign the class.
Yeah.
And it's really only trying to figure out those top 4 players that they selected because the other 3 were drafted in the 6th round.
And then the rest of it, pretty good. One of the players I noticed. I was reading some comments. It was pretty funny now I think about it. One of the players they drafted, they say he looks like Biggie Smalls.
So I guess we're.
No, I talking about the Jameson
Bobby
Davis.
Bobby something or other. Yeah, people were saying he looks like Biggie Smalls a little bit.
Here.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So. But I definitely like the Jack Kelly pick because you can never have too many linebackers. He's probably a good backup, maybe like a 3rd down stopper type of thing.
Yeah, and they also drafted J.C. Davis to be the backup left tackle, and also not to mention Colton Hood. So some needed cornerback depth. Remember they had Paulson Adebo, but they also brought in Greg Newsome in free agencies. So maybe at this point, just to make Deontay Banks the permanent kick returner,
right?
So which they actually have listed on our lad. So I'm looking at that right now. But yeah. So I think now I want to answer you guys to answer this trivia question. So Notre Dame had 2 running backs drafted in the 1st round of the NFL draft this year. I'm only going to ask you what school was the last to do so prior to this year.
Yeah, I do have a guess, but I'm really not that confident. I'm gonna go out on a whim here. I'm gonna go with Texas.
Texas. So what's your pick?
Texas seems pretty popular. I think Tim might be frozen.
Well,
oh, there he is. He's frozen, but I hear him.
I was thinking I wasn't going in the direction of Texas. I was thinking maybe make any of them my final answer. I'm going to take a wild guess and say Auburn.
So you're going with current SEC schools, Texas and Auburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So both of you are on the right track, but for both of you, so it wasn't Texas or Auburn. You also mentioned earlier before Natale came on, Alabama and Georgia. It wasn't those schools either. I was looking for the University of Arkansas.
Ooh, I never would have thought of that. Wait, which players are these?
So the first one that went it was 2008, and Darren McFadden was drafted in the 4th round, with 4th overall by the Raiders, and then with the 22nd pick of that draft, was the selection that sent Felix Jones to the Cowboys.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got some lag problems with the audio. I couldn't get the answer.
Yeah. So the answer was the University of Arkansas. Tim.
I still didn't get it.
Arkansas.
Type it in if you have to.
Yeah.
I'm just still impressed with this laptop. Arkansas.
Yeah.
I think I just heard Arkansas.
Yep.
Yeah. I just thought of a bonus
about
question at the
that?
last minute.
Okay.
Well, Darren McFadden went 4th to the Raiders. Felix Jones went 22nd to the Cowboys. Oh yeah, Felix Jones, he was okay. Went to the Raiders. I think Darren played one. I think he played one end of his career there. So yeah,
Yeah,
I knew those names sounded familiar.
and actually, I remember I had Darren McFadden in fantasy the year he played with the Cowboys. So,
I cannot hear anything.
Yes. So Natalia, what were you?
This laptop is just sucks.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll start with my bonus question because I just saw something very interesting. All right. This is when you factor trades at the end. When you factor trades and whatnot, which team ended up having the lowest amount of picks in a draft?
So last year you went. Last week you went with the most in the draft. This year you're going with the fewest.
Not necessarily, because a few years back, the Seattle Seahawks only had four or three picks. But that's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going with this. One team was infamous for doing something totally ridiculous in a certain draft. I think Flynn knows where I'm going with this, probably.
I think so too. So,
but yeah, we'll hold that thought. We'll give Tim a chance to see if he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, this was my bonus question. This is what I came up with on a whim.
We talk about.
Yeah. One team was infamous for doing something really ridiculous, and ended up being part of history as having the lowest amount of picks in a single draft.
Play of this whole thing to try to understand everything because there's just so much lag on the video and the audio on this thing. I'm just about to.
Yeah, we'll give it a bit or so to see if Tim's audio catches up.
Can I hear anything I'm saying?
Maybe
so if you questions. So
yeah, I mean, maybe if you so exit and re-enter, maybe that'll work.
Wait, something's typed in here. Let's see. Oh, okay.
Okay. So I guess if we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show, we can let everybody know that if I'm not mistaken, we talked on the last show that we were going to do one. I think it's May 13th or 14th is supposed to be the date of the NFL schedule release.
Yes.
Yeah, we think it will be May 13th. Yeah, May 13th. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, next schedule for we think will be Wednesday, May 13th, or Thursday, May 14th. So I'll be sure and watch for that. So it looks like my try here to do the whole show on this laptop was a complete bust.
Yeah.
So it looks like once again I have to utilize my Xbox to try to work things out.
Yeah,
Have to
you guys
do
are coming up a lot better now.
split the deal. Have to do the audio. Have to do the video with my laptop, but do the audio with my Xbox. And it's very very inconvenient, but that's all I can do. But
Yeah,
y'all be sure to catch John Flynn with Hooked on Sports.
yeah.
Catch with Hooked on Sports. Look for on Spotify. John Flynn YouTube channel. You can watch Hooked on Sports as well. So I'll be sure to watch out for that. You can hear me. Y'all take care, and I'm signing off. And I got I got I got to seriously work on
Okay.
this thing right here. So
Okay.
so
Sounds good. Well,
I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I love you people. We can't do this show without you. You guys go ahead and sign off too. Whatever you want to, and we'll see you next month. So damn things.
yeah. So it's unfortunate that we were not able to do that. So let's finish up by answering your question. So which
Yep.
team had the fewest draft picks in a single draft?
Yeah,
Was that the one with the Ricky Williams trade?
you got it. The 1999 New Orleans Saints. It says right here, characterized by head coach Mike Ditka trading all of the team's 1999 picks and more in 2000 to the Washington Redskins to select running back Ricky Williams with the 5th overall pick.
Talk about a coach on the hot seat. And
there you go. Now for that was the one that I came up with at the last minute. Now we'll do the actual thing. This is a 2-part question. We're gonna go with the longest streak without a first round pick in all the draft era, and then also the longest streak in the current era.
So I'm gonna go the longest streak without a first round pick. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Which one? Are you talking about all time or current era that we're using?
So what do you mean by current era? Like since 1936?
The draft that we're using today.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the Rams of the current era.
Okay.
And then the longest streak of with the first round pick in the current era, I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
All right. As far as the first one goes, you're absolutely right. It was the Rams, a 7-year run from 2017 to 2023.
Yeah,
but
F them picks.
Yeah,
right.
But as far as the longest of all time, it was actually at the Washington Redskins. It was from 1969 to 1979, 11 years.
They went 11 years without a first round pick?
Yeah, 11 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Washington also tied the Rams from 1984 to 1990.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, those were my 2 questions.
Yeah, so I mean,
you got 2.5 out of 3 basically.
Yeah, so
well, 1.5 out of 2, pretty much.
Right. So yeah, that was actually a good question. So yeah, I think we're gonna wind up wrapping our show here. Well, again, as we mentioned before, because Tim's audio was lagging way behind the so way behind ours. So that we believe, based upon the patterns of the last few years, that the NFL schedule will be released on Wednesday, May 13th, and if that is indeed the case, we will be live that night to react to the schedule release. So I believe that will be that. And Hooked on Sports, I'm looking to get more to give you more of my stuff. I mean, in terms of that, I'm gonna try record an episode tomorrow morning. As of before I do other things around the house. So definitely, I'm gonna try and take care of that. And so I think that we'll finally put a bow wrap on tonight's edition of Fantasy Football Fever. So, so on behalf of John Natale to my right, my name is John Flynn. Saying take care, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Fantasy Football Fever in 2 weeks. So until then, as Tim would say, be a good sport. Have a good night.